IDZ, of course, the acronym for Industrial Development Zone. Thando, go ahead.
Thanks, Ashraf. Warm greetings from the Eastern Cape. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, mine today is just to talk to you a little bit about what the industrial development zones do. The Minister referred to the industrial development zones earlier this morning, and I'm going to answer a few questions for you in my presentation today. What is an IDZ? What have we done? And where are we going? To kickstart, an IDZ is a back of port designated area that aims at hosting export-oriented entities that basically manufacture for exports within that particular space. This is a government's intervention led by the DTI to try and increase the country's competitiveness through increasing the basket of imports. And they do this by creating this platform where then we put incentives into the platform, and also we try and reduce the cost of doing business in that particular area. It's one of, as you know, one of the major issues for attracting investment into any area is the ease of doing business, and that's really what we're trying to do. The IDZ concept is not a new concept around the world. There's over 3,000 of these things, so it actually tells you what type of competition we've got to face in order to produce a very good product. They have different permutations. Sometimes they're called free trade zones, export processing zones, and so on and so forth. These are different permutations, but our permutation has one particular feature where it is not extraterritorial. That means the laws of the country apply in the zone. And that's a very, very important distinguishing feature. The DTI designated since 2001 about 3 IDZs. And I know they're in the process of designating one in the short course. But what have they done? I mean, they've actually spent 5.4 billion of their money in 3 IDZs, which is Richards Bay, Kocha, and ourselves. And the provincial governments respectively have spent about 1.7 billion to actually attract about 44 investors and about 12.3 billion of FDR and investment. I want to also emphasize that the significant portion of this funding went into infrastructure. Because remember, we're turning greenfield areas into industrial sectors. So a significant portion of the money that I've spent, I've indicated, went into infrastructure. And as you go to these particular areas, you actually find that that infrastructure has unlocked exciting opportunities, not only for the IDZ, but for the locations in which they are located. By way of impact, I will zoom into my East London IDZ and tell you what we've done, so as to maybe look at the impact of these IDZs that it could have and that it should have going forward. We were designated in 2002, one of the first IDZs to be designated in the country. We started with the construction of infrastructures I've indicated, which we completed the infrastructure in 2006. And we took an approach of looking at the first 236 hectares. We produced out of that 150 sites that are basically plug and play. So you've got a road, you've got a telephone, you've got electricity, it's plug and play. In 2007, we partnered with Mercedes-Benz to basically gain traction that we have gained now, whereby we developed a concept called the Automotive Supply Park, which actually entrenched our existence. So it's a clustering approach where people utilize collective logistics to basically reduce the cost of doing business. Since that, we've grown significantly. From 2005 we were sitting at 88 million of investment. We're currently, as we speak, sitting at 4 billion investment into the zone. And this sits on 26 hectares of the total other hectares. So you can see the investment that government made, which was about 1.5 billion, unlocking on 26% of land, unlocking 4 billion. This basically says at this stage we have 2,492, give or take, direct jobs that have been created on this small piece of land. During construction phase, we managed to create job opportunities of about 20,000. And for a place like the Eastern Cape, as you know, there's a huge migration to Gauteng. These are type of instruments that would begin to assist us in those particular areas to at least anchor the jobs that are so needed in those particular areas. What key sectors do we focus on? Obviously automotive, because we've got some of the giants down there. We've got aquaculture. We've got mineral beneficiaries. It's not only Gauteng that actually has diamonds. We've got a diamond factory there. Let's go there and look at a diamond factory in the Eastern Cape. General manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and so on and so forth. So, what is our value proposition? Very simple. Plug and play. We'll handhold you through regulations. What is actually called bureaucracy. We'll handhold you. We'll plug and play you to logistics for you to distribute your merchandise. We've got great partnerships with the city, great partnerships with some of the SOCs in the area, Transnet and so on and so forth, that assist us to unlock the value proposition. And this is quite important because it brings about the issue of collaboration between multi-stakeholders, which we so need in South Africa for us to move forward. We obviously have incentives that we do, which we thank our own municipality that has come to the party with those incentives. And it's quite important that municipalities and provincial governments come to the party to provide the incentives needed to get these IDZs on the ground. And of course, there's lifestyle that we offer. We put that in the mix as well as the sea. It's obviously the wildlife. It takes you 30 minutes before you see an elephant. And and of course schooling. I must commend government with the great work that it's doing towards the revamping of the program itself. As you know, there's a new SEZ bill coming through. This is meant to try and now make robust this incentive, the IDZ incentive. They're looking at a clear basket of incentives for the IDZ, clear governance frameworks. They're looking at clear institutional frameworks. They're looking at a plug and play into the regional economy through participation of all public and private entities, particularly related to the manufacturing space, to actually assist us to take advantage along the value chain so that you've got backward linkages so that we can unlock those jobs up there. We can create value through the value chain. And I must say that in the East London IDZs, we recognize this value because we established what we term a science park, which is clearly to unlock the value within the value chain and to actually entrench industry in that particular area. But more importantly, to take advantage of the knowledge economy that we have and we're losing as a country. By the way, Eastern Cape has 4 universities, so we should, at least we have that driver. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we are open for business and poised to contribute towards dealing with the triple challenge that the Minister indicated.